right. Good day to you, beautiful people of the Instagram. This is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist, coming to you here from the car studio. Getting some stuff ready. I'm gonna go pick up my son from school. Still looking for a driver. I'm still looking for the right driver to go drop off my son and pick him up from school. And till I find that perfect driver, I gotta do it myself right now because my wife is in the studio packaging some artwork, and I can work in the studio at midnight or something. I can finish some artwork that I need to do. I got some commissions I need to finish, so I can work that. Maybe I'll stretch it till midnight today. It's what it is. No, if you don't have the help, even if you have the help, you never really stop working. To a certain degree, you never really stop working hard, because when you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, whatever you want to call artpreneur, some people call themselves, I'm an artpreneur, whatever the hell that means. When you're going into business as an artist, a little small business, whatever, a small gig, right? You're wearing all the hats, right? You're wearing all the hats, so you end up doing the work of, I don't know. That's why we trick ourselves and we think we're doing so well, right? You're working hard and then you start tricking yourself. You're like, oh my God, I'm doing so well. Well, yes and no. The reality is that you're doing the work of 5 people, or maybe sometimes even 10 people, depending on your hustle muscle. That's a funny thing about working for yourself. It's skewed data. It's a bit of a skewed data. See, if you're working for someone else, and then you let's say that you have a job and you're working for some corporation or whatever, I don't know, some business, and you were making $50K a year, and all of a sudden you grind, and you start making $200K a year or something, whatever, right? And it's not skewed. It's just that you work more, right? You put some more hours, you leverage something, and so it's not really skewed. But when you're working for yourself, it can be skewed. The data is a bit skewed because you're doing the job of many people. You're spending more in marketing, advertisement, materials, and on and on and on and on. So the data is a bit skewed. So the entrepreneurs, I believe anyways, the entrepreneur's way is to always keep growing. It's to always keep growing. You can't really be stagnant. It's not like a job where you go and you make a certain you hit a ceiling, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, great, I'm doing great right here. I hit a ceiling, and I'm getting paid the top of what a top performer gets paid here. So this is where I'm at. This is where I made it, right? As an entrepreneur, you don't have that. That's not a reality because the what do you call them, the payments. You need resources to move forward. You need different types of resources to move forward as an entrepreneur. You can't just be like, oh, okay, well, that's it. This is where I get paid. No, because it catches up with you. Anyways, one of the reasons I'm saying this is because I was reading this quote by Jeff Koons, the great Jeff Koons, whom I admire tremendously. Some people don't like him, but I do. The guy's a winner. Of course I gotta like him. Jeff Koons said in a quote, he didn't say He said, when you close your eyes to judgment, You know, when you become judgmental, right, of a situation, you close yourself from all opportunity. Along those words, you guys get what I'm saying. If you judge a situation, you will close your eyes to the opportunity. And it's my belief that as artists, we are tempted to do that. We are tempted to judge situations right away, and thus, or therefore, close ourselves to opportunity. You know, we close ourselves to opportunity because we tend to judge situations very quick, prematurely judge situations. You know, we see something and it doesn't feel like it's right, or, you know, so you close yourself to opportunity. And I'm going to give you guys an example. I've been looking for help in my studio. I need help. Okay, I need the help. I need muscle power in my studio. In the past, I have gotten help. In the past, I've had up to, you know, a couple, 2-3 people, plus my wife and I, helping me in the studio. And one of the things that I noticed was that, well, number one, I try to get help prematurely. I try to get help too fast. And what I mean by that is that I wasn't putting in the sufficient effort that, you know, I could have done it myself in the beginning. But then comes a point where you're doing it yourself, and you're doing, you know, you're stretching yourself, and you're pushing, and you're wearing all the hats, and then you start finding out, okay, I think I need help. Now, I don't know what that is for you, whether it's right from the beginning, because it can be. You're just doing things right. You know, you're doing whatever, right? You figured something out that I didn't figure out, and you start getting help, which is something that I'm learning now. I look back and I'm like, oh man, it's not that necessarily that I didn't need the help. I needed the help, but I also needed to show up myself. I needed to show up. So I needed both. I needed me showing up, and I needed the help. I hope I'm making any sense. Because what happens many times is that artists get into the studio, they start working in the studio, and they kind of put some half-ass hours in there. And things are rolling a little bit. You're selling a painting here, painting there, some exhibits, you know. But you know you need different stuff. You need more stuff, right? You need marketing. You need videos. You need to, you know, engage. You need audience. You need on and on and on. And you need to contact your collector list and all these things, right? It involves a lot of stuff because, as I mentioned before, being an artist is being an entrepreneur. Don't kid yourself and buy into the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid that a lot of artists out there are saying that you're not. It's not being an entrepreneur. It is being an entrepreneur. Believe this guy. Otherwise, it's a hobby, or it's a very slow burning project. It's a very slow burning project if it's not a business. And all businesses need speed, especially nowadays. We need speed. They need muscle and speed because things move so fast. You know, opportunities jump in and then jump out of the way. And then jump at you and then move out of the way right away. It's an interesting world we're living in right now. We need speed. I'm not the only one saying it. There's a lot of people out there saying it, and a lot of people that I trust are saying it. They're playing the game. You know, they're not just from somewhere, from a corner, writing a book and saying, "Oh no, you need speed." Well, you need speed in today's world. As if we don't know it. You also need peace. You need to step back and, you know, for your spiritual life, but pragmatic. Speaking pragmatically, you need speed. Okay. From a pragmatic point, there's certain things that we need in business, in anything. You're an entrepreneur. If you're an artist, please understand this early on. Otherwise, you may have a hard time later on. As years go by, I've been at it for 20 years. As years go by, you start realizing that this is no different than being a dentist, being a plumber, being a doctor, or whatever. You're essentially trying to, because it's service, you're trying to get your service or your product in the hands of people who can benefit from it. So it's the same thing. It's no different. So anyways, as I'm saying this, the quote by Jeff Koons said, look, if you if you judge the situation, right, you become you close your eyes from the opportunity. You're going about just judging, right, and judging negatively. I don't think there's positive judging. I think it's negative judging. But as I mentioned, right now, talking about hiring people and bringing people over, which is my next move, again, is that you need both. You need to raise your amp up your work ethic tremendously. Like, I don't mean like just a couple of nudges. You need to amp up your work ethic tremendously, and you need help, because this is the reason why, guys. Okay, I'm dropping some golden nuggets for those of you who are ready for that are playing a more serious game. This you won't read this anywhere, by the way. I've read a lot of art books. I read a lot of entrepreneur books, marketing books. You won't read this anywhere. This is stuff this is experiential. You're gonna have to either learn it from someone who's doing it, who has done it, especially who's doing it still, or fall flat on your face and figure it out yourself after a few thousand times. So what happens is that since you're doing it yourself, you're wearing a lot of hats and you're doing all the work yourself. So you're putting tremendous effort. So when you bring people in, okay, most small business owners are gonna cognate on this. You guys are gonna agree with me. Watch. As you bring people in, most people, it doesn't matter how hard they work. Most people are in it for their time, right? They put in they clock in, they clock out, right? They put it, especially, it doesn't matter whether you get them full-time, part-time. It doesn't matter, because it's not their business. So it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that that's how life works, right? You're the one with the business. You're the one who should be going faster and clocking in longer hours than the rest of the people. However, as you bring someone in, you are working at a pace that you're working for about 5 people. When you bring someone in, it's almost going to feel like they're not helping you. Okay? Pay attention. Pay attention. It's going to feel like, oh my God. I thought that by bringing someone, it was going to alleviate, some of my marketing here, some of my workload here. And it almost doesn't feel like it. And especially because we get tricked into bringing people in, and then we kind of coast. We lower. This is a huge mistake. We stop working as hard because now I got people. It's not true, guys. Please, here are the alarm lights. It is not true. When you bring people in, it's going to feel like an eighth of you, maybe a quarter of you. This is not because they don't work hard or whatever. This is because you're doing so much. You're doing the work of so many people that when you bring someone in, it's just a little bit more, right? So, but you still have to bring them in. That's the funny thing, though. You still have to bring them in. And most people would be like, but why? I'm doing the work. I'm saving all the work, right? I'm saving the paying people for doing this, paying people for doing that, and on and on, if I do it myself. Yeah, but this is something that you may not understand if you haven't owned a small business. You get stuck. So you can't move forward. You get stuck doing everything, right? And you're clever and it works and there's income coming in, but you can't grow. Two things happen. You never have time for anything else, and you can't grow. And one of the reasons why you can't grow is because you cannot move faster, right? There's only one of you. You can't split yourself so much more anymore. In the beginning, it feels like you can split yourself because you'll be like, oh, I'll do 1 hour of this, 1 hour of that, 2 hours of this. In the beginning, it's good. It's the right thing to do. But after you're growing, you can't really split yourself anymore. So you have to bring people in, and as you bring people in, you have to be okay. This is something that I learned. As I was bringing people in, I was like, oh man, it doesn't feel like they're helping me. And then I realized, no, dude, it's not really going to feel. You need to still bring them in, even if they help you a little bit. Because you keep pushing with everything you got. right? And then as more income starts coming in your art studio or whatever you do, then you start hiring more people, right? And then now it's going to feel, imagine having two of you working as hard as you work. Imagine two people working as hard as you work. Let's say that you're working very hard and you're advancing really well in your work. I don't know, you're whatever, you find time to do everything. You're framing, you're hanging paintings in galleries and this and that, and you're moving. And now imagine going and getting another you, right? It might take bringing in 5 more people to get another you. And that's why people don't grow, because people start scratching their heads and like, how could I ever pay 5 more people? Right? How could I ever pay 5 more people? That's the sin. That's the problem right there, that we start thinking that way. That is not true, guys. We need to start bringing in people. This is something that I am starting to do. You guys are going to start seeing more people in my studio. It's something that I know I need to start doing, because I've been playing the little game too long already. The small game. Yeah, things are rolling for me. I'm getting opportunities here, commissions there, exhibits, and on and on and on. But and then in the past, couple of years ago, I tried bringing people in, and it felt like, oh my God, I think I can do it myself. This is one of the biggest problems small businesses, one of the biggest mistakes small businesses do. And even if you're not a small business, guys, let's say that you're working for someone and you need to do a lot of writing or this or that, pay someone. Like figure out how you can go and focus on the income stream, more on the side of the income stream, and then pay someone to do what you consider to be taking more of your time and not enough pay. A lot of the minutia work, a lot of writing. I write a lot of articles. I'm always doing stuff like that, and I'm like, oh man, you know what? This is stupid. I could have someone from college, a college student, helping me write articles. But again, in the beginning, it doesn't feel that way. In the beginning, it feels like you can do it all, and you should be doing it all, because that's how you start. But there comes a point, and only you know when. But and it could be also in the beginning. Like now that I look back, I'm like, oh, that was stupid, right? I should have, could have, would have, right? I look back now and I'm like, well, that was stupid. I should have brought people in early and raise my work ethic at the same time. Because what I was trying to do, I was trying to raise my work ethic. I'm not saying that, maybe I did the right thing. I don't know. But I focused more on bringing up my work ethic. Because I knew that my work ethic was the most important thing. Because I was like, if I raise my work ethic, then I'm going to be really, I'm really going to be working to my capacity, right? At least what I thought was my capacity. And so I'm not going to feel like there's this sort of lie that we can tell we can tell ourselves that I'm overworked. But many times, and I can testify to that, you're not overworked. Many times you're not overworked. Many times the problem is that you've been overthinking, not overworking. You're overthought, if that's something we can use now. You have overthought. You've been overthinking your way rather than overworking. You haven't really been overworking. You've used a lot of your energy for thinking processes, which are not very important. They're not very important. But we get again, it's that skewed information, right? We think that if we become clever and we think about stuff and we, all of a sudden things are going to roll for us really well. And that's not how it works, guys. You have to raise your work ethic, and you have to start bringing people in. Now, I don't know how that's going to look for you. It might even be that you're not ready to pay anyone, right? So how do you do it? then get together with players, right? Get together with players that are going the same direction. They know resources, right? Maybe you exchange a painting for someone to help you do some marketing. Maybe you exchange them. Maybe you know how to do some other services, and you exchange them so that someone helps you advance in your career. But whatever you do, you're gonna have to leverage yourself. And there's two ways of doing it, right? You either put in more time, more effort, more hours, right? You put in more of you, or you get other people to help you. And the right formula, I think, it's doing both. I think the right formula is doing both. Is you putting more time, putting more effort, becoming more responsible with your career, your art career, and then at the same time bringing in people to help you. But when you bring people in, again, guys, I'm stressing this because we don't normally believe this. When you bring people in, don't get upset, don't get overwhelmed, don't feel like they're not helping you. They are helping you. It's just that it doesn't feel like a lot of help in the beginning because you are used to doing everything yourself, and you've gotten good at it too. That's the problem. You got good at it. That's a huge problem. It's not a problem that you got good at it. It's a perception problem that you think that no one else can do it. Because you're right, no one else can do it right now at the speed and with the maybe as good and with the accurate as you can do it. You know, the accuracy as you can do it. But that doesn't mean that no one else out there can learn that and can help you. Because being an artist, guys, it's a very lonely, capital L road. Because it's a solo thing. You're on your own, right? It's not, you create work on your own. You go look for stuff on your own. It's a very lonely thing. It's a very lonely career. And you got to get people to help you and help you push and help you pull. Because you got to do both. And when it comes to business, you push and pull. And what I mean pull is that you place yourself in you do certain things to place yourself so that you attract opportunities, as well as you push yourself, right? That's why it's a push and pull. You push yourself to do certain things that you're not comfortable with. And I don't mean unethical things. I'm talking about waking up a little earlier, going to sleep a little earlier so that you can actually wake up early. I don't know, working a little faster, right? Things that you're not comfortable with. Putting in a bit more time than you're used to, right? Talking to more people than you're comfortable with. And on and on and on, different things. But it's a game of push and pull. And so that's what I was thinking about Jeff Koons when he said, when you judge something, right? If you come from a judgment point of view, you will miss out on the opportunity. You will close your eyes from the opportunity. And I see that happened to me when trying to get help in my studio. When I was trying to get help in my studio, I was like, oh man, no, they're not working as hard as I am, as fast, as accurate. They're only doing 1/4 of what I can actually do in that situation. And this is a problem. It's not true. It looks that way in the beginning, but as they're getting momentum, or maybe you have to put someone else in. I don't know, but you have to put someone in. As you're getting momentum and they alleviate a little, even if they alleviate a little bit of work, right? You go get more income, right? Because that's how businesses work. You have to go get more income. It's the whole game of business, growth. And you go get more income, and then you bring someone else, and then you place another person. Right? You place another person helps you now. And then they both people now alleviate a little bit more work. And then you have a little bit more free time that free time is not for you to play artist, to like scratch your head and be like, oh yeah. No, that little bit more free time that they're creating for you is for you to go get more income. And that's how that game is played. That's how I understand the game is played. Of course, this is something I'm about to embark. And it's uncomfortable. It's always uncomfortable because we're used to doing things ourselves. I've brought people in before to help me, and again, it's that feeling of, oh man, I can do it myself, because it's a very lonely work, right? It's a one person job. Like, I paint, yeah, but being an entrepreneur is not just painting. Especially nowadays, it involves so much. You're running a full on business. It's not like it used to be. I don't know if it's ever been that way. How people always talk about the good old days, but I don't think it's ever been that way. I think it's always been hustling. It's always been looking for that edge, and showing up and working a little harder than everyone else, and being there a little earlier than everyone else, and being a little faster than everyone else, and maybe having a little bit more help than everyone else. And that's really the way I see it. You just have that edge a little bit more, right? Skill can take you so far only. After that, after skill, your true colors are gonna have to start shining, and that means like how much are you willing to sacrifice, and how how brave you can be, because it's fearful, right? You're placing yourself in fearful situations, like, oh, I'm gonna go get help. Oh, okay, well that means I have to pay these people, and that means that I'm accountable. I have to hold them accountable, and I'm accountable for them as well. And I'm not alone in my studio anymore, where I can just walk in and out whenever I want to, and now I have people there, and I have to be responsible for them, and and on and on and on. And so it opens more what do you call it? Challenges, right? It opens more challenges. Now there's more responsibility. That's what it does, right? It creates more responsibility as you grow in anything, right? In any position. If you are a CEO somewhere, you have the reason why you're a CEO and you get paid those big daddy checks is because you have more responsibility than the average salesperson in the building. You get paid for responsibility. You don't get paid because you're good looking like me, right? It's the same thing in being an artist, entrepreneur. You don't get paid for having this awesome hair. Not only for that. You get paid because you're piling on responsibilities, and you're because every responsibility is another tool to get into the marketplace, right? They're tools. It's how you get into the marketplace. So if you're an artist and you're doing it on your own, think about it. This is not, again, the shit I talk about is not very popular. Then again, I wonder why so many artists have such a hard time. I talk to artists just about every day, and they talk to me and they say, I'm having a hard time selling. Who's helping you? What are you doing? Well, I have my daytime job and this and that, and I find out that they're doing it themselves, and two things, right? Two things are going on usually. One, they're doing it themselves, which is a lot of effort, and two, their work ethic, right? What they're willing to put in is not enough. It's not enough. They're willing to put in an hour a day, maybe at most, and it's kind of like around the bush. It's like, well, today I'm going to paint, and then when I feel like it, I'm going to paint. When I feel like it, I'll market. When I feel like it, I'm gonna. So it's not enough. You need pressure for everything, right? That's how diamonds are made. You need pressure. So if you don't put pressure on things, it's like you're forging, right? We're forging things. Everybody. You don't have to be an artist. If you're a musician, you have to put pressure. I remember being a guitarist. grow calluses in my fingers, right? Create calluses, because you have to put pressure. There's pressure, there's this repetition, you know, for hours and hours and days and years, until all of a sudden everybody says, oh my God, you're a great musician. But it's not that, it's that you put pressure. So guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that I made any sense to any artists out there. Thank you so much. Take care, and I will talk to you guys soon. Adios.